disposing of the corpse. The ultimate way not to create a beginning was not to not let the corpse be found. It was even more important than killing him. Thinking on it vaguely, the first thing that came to mind was the swamp. Onagafuchi, the dreadful bottomless swamp revered even now that appeared in the legends of Onagafuchi village. Yes, the swamp called Onagafuchi was here first, and then the village took its name to become Onagafuchi village. In other words, this swamp was the origin of Onagafuchi village. No one, no matter who it was, would float back to the surface of this bottomless swamp. Everyone would be swallowed down into the land of the demons below the earth. That was how the stories went. If I was trying to copy Oyashiro-sama's curse, then I felt that theory demanded I discard the remains and the weapon into the swamp. But they may have said it's bottomless, but I didn't actually know. And they say large creatures like humans produce a lot of gas when they rot, granting a lot of buoyancy. That's why using fairly heavy objects to hold people down didn't work. Come to think of it, with the curse the year before last, Rika-chan's mother drowned herself in this swamp. And the criminal behind the dismemberment that went missing year of the first curse, too. It was rumored he tried to discard the body in the swamp and accidentally drowned in it. I never heard of the corpse coming back up or them finding it. Then, shouldn't I choose to discard the corpse there too? I could discard the weapon there. And then, for example, if her uncle came out on a motorcycle and attacked, it would be convenient to get rid of the bike too. I knew that Satoko's uncle generally used a motorcycle for transportation. But, as for the corpse... After a lot of worrying, I decided not to discard the corpse in the swamp. The drowning, suicide, and accident were both rumors. Nobody knew if they'd actually happened. There were no lack of false rumors about the drowning suicide anyway, and it was possible the murderer hadn't drowned there and was still on the run. That meant no one had ever confirmed a corpse being dropped back in there and not coming back up. Then what would I do with the body? I thought it might be interesting to go with the first incident, cut him into pieces and hide him, but the preparation and work for dismembering a human body would be difficult given the amount of time I had. With that out of the question, I arrived at the conclusion to go with the more orthodox method of burying the body. Then where would I bury it was a question related to where I would kill him. Of course, I wanted to keep my time in proximity to the body at a minimum. With that in mind, I wanted to dig the hole to dump the body beforehand, and make sure the location of the act and the hole close together. The choice of where to plan the crime, that I needed to be absolutely careful and thorough with. It had to be somewhere nobody would witness it, and in a place with hiding places for a sneak attack. I could dig a hole for the body right there. I go over the possibilities in my head at the various destinations her uncle would head to from Satoko's house. I imagined the map of the area in my head, then I found a place that fulfilled those conditions so easily it was almost unbelievable. The damn site. No, a bit of back road, okay. A bit of back road that went through the woods. I didn't think her uncle would go deeper into the mountains of Yagoshi on a whim. If he was going anywhere, he'd pass through these woods first. And nobody used this back way unless they had something to do at Satoko's house, or one or two other places. This path was fantastically ideal, as few people used it. I would wait for him in these woods. Would an ambush actually be possible? I went into the trees and tried really hiding myself in a few places. It was extremely quiet. My senses could be sharpened here to their maximum amount. I didn't know when he'd come, but I'd wait right here for Satoko's uncle. I actually had some trouble coming to that decision. The question arose of whether I should somehow call the man out. Was there a risk I'd be taking by luring him here? The man made Satoko do all the shopping and errands. He seldom left on his own business. He wouldn't leave unless I worked out a plan to force him to, would he? That was the question. Tomorrow was the Watanagashi festival. Would he go out for the festival, or would he stay inside? If he stayed inside, how would I drag him out of his house? That's right. Wouldn't he make Satoko go to the festival? Satoko would go to the festival. Meanwhile, I would call the man. This is the Okonomiya police station. We have the young lady from your house. Could you come and pick her up immediately? It didn't even have to be the police. This is the clinic. The young lady from your house has been injured. Please come pick her up. Yes, that would work too. If I claimed to be the police for the hospital, told him to come, and then hung up on him, he'd rush there trying to figure out what was going on, wouldn't he? And just the other day, he was visited by a probation officer. He wouldn't suddenly grumble about having to get his niece and not go. It would look like child neglect. The man had no skills useful around the house. Satoko, his slave, was an essential part of his daily life. Conclusion: if he went out to the festival, I would attack him here on his way there or back. If he didn't, I would lure him out by phone. If luring him out by phone was my first step, I need to be sure Satoko would go to the festival, leaving the house. It would be convenient if I could make Mion take Satoko to the festival. She said her aunt was a district welfare officer. In other words, an ally to the probation officer. If I somehow incited Mion to take Satoko to the festival with her, well, being who she was, she'd use that fact and get her there. Satoko should just take a break and have fun at the festival with everyone. She should have a good time, reminisce on her former peaceful days, and when she went home, everything would be over. Yeah, that would be the best outcome. With that decided, I needed to dig a hole somewhere in the woods to hide the body. So it wouldn't stand out, so it wouldn't be found. Someplace nobody would see me while I was completely exposed as I buried the corpse. I'd wanted to be as close to the scene of the crime, but it naturally grew further away. Deep in the bosom of the Black Forest, the voices of the Higurashi were the only sounds here, informing me that people shouldn't indiscreetly set foot in this place. Yeah, this is kind of a Hitman-esque, planning the assassination and disposing of the corpse. Digging a hole with so many tree roots crawling around the ground would be far more difficult than I'd envisioned. Yeah, he is digging a hole for himself, more than likely. I snuck a gardening spade out here in my bag, but that wouldn't be enough. Still, as I looked into various approaches, I managed to find a place I could dig into. Tomorrow I'd bring a real shovel from the storeroom at home. I'd manage with that. I wondered how big a hole would have to be to fit a human all the way into it. About 6 feet deep. I'd probably have to dig pretty deep down. But if I was slipshod in these efforts, I'd let a beginning occur. I absolutely couldn't allow that. Use any amount of time you need to. I mustn't spare any effort to utterly erase him. I glanced at my wristwatch. It was a little past 6. This was probably all I was going to get done here for today. I really wanted to dig the hole in advance tonight, even if it got dark out, but Mom would be upset if I stayed out that late. No word on if she'd be upset if I killed this jerk. It wouldn't be good to come off as suspicious to my parents. I needed to go back home and give Mion a call soon. I need to get her to promise Satoko to take her by tonight. After that, today would be done. Done. Would it be, though? Was this really everything I could do to prepare right now? I decided where to kill him. I decided how to kill him. I decided, of course, how to dispose of the body. I didn't decide on the time, but I would play that by ear. I didn't have a way to decide that. Was that really all? Was this really all right? Have I overlooked anything? Would this really go how I planned? After all this, worries started welling up one after another. It was only natural I'd be anxious. This would be the first and last big job of my lifetime. I couldn't allow failure, and I had no experience, as this was my first time. I didn't have the know-how, the knack, so it was only natural I'd be anxious. You know, I cannot argue that whatever happens here, Tomitaki and Takano will see it, and then we'll have to kill them too. As Oyashiro-sama's, angel of vengeance here, Tomitaki and Takano must die by our hand. Seems about right, really. The dark clouds of unease told me nothing would be the easiest way. A truly pathetic suggestion this late in the game. Have you forgotten how miserable Satoko looked? From the outside, it may have looked like I was resolute, but deep in my heart, my knees were shaking loudly. I'd never actually won a single fight to my satisfaction. Could I really kill someone? I may have been planning an ambush, but my enemy was large and far older than me. He had a scary face and looked like he was well accustomed to fighting. Could I have... All the pieces before and after the murder were perfectly planned. But was the actual murder the most important part? What unsettled me the most? I should kinda hope so. All my preparations, all of my perfectly concealed machinations, if I didn't successfully murder him, they amounted to nothing. Damn it! After coming this far, you're pathetic, Keiichi Maebara. If you start to have these kinds of second thoughts, your ulterior motive will be obvious. Let's go home. Go home and calm your mind. Tomorrow will be a juncture in your life the likes of which graduation, employment, marriage, and childbirth couldn't hold a candle to. A day of murder. To kill someone for someone else's sake. With that day behind us, we would take it back again. Those mild, spring-like days we never thought would stop. Those safe, peaceful, fun times. I pedaled my bicycle hard to get back home. I felt somehow unsteady. I'm kind of reminded of the Gundam Mobile Suit '08 team. That's what I'm being reminded of here. Like my body and soul weren't in alignment. A subtle shift between where the tips of my hands and feet really were and where I felt them to be. My vision was a little distant and narrow. As if the great barrier I risked my future life on had nothing to do with me. An unreal sensation. How could I put it? Everything was so far away. Fine. Feel your unease permeate you, Keiichi Maebara. If that will turn your timidity into meticulousness and allow you to act with greater caution, then it's actually an important emotion to feel. This feeling I had never went away that night. It was the first time I'd be calling Neon's house. I searched for her in the phone book the school gave me, then dialed a short phone number, the kind unique to remote places. It was around dinner time. She'd probably be home. But just as I started to think nobody would respond, somebody finally picked up the receiver.
Hi, Sonogaki desu.
夜分遅くにすみません。ミオンか？
どちら様です？
俺だよ、ケイイチだ。
ケイちゃんか。何こんな時間に。
She seemed to be in a weirdly good mood, and she drew her syllables out. She's drunk again, isn't she? Right, it's the night before tomorrow's festival, so she's probably with her family having some drinks.
悪いな、こんな時間に。今、時間は大丈夫か？
うん。何？
聡子のことなんだけど。
I heard her drawing a small breath on the other end.
さとこ、大変なことになっちゃったね。大丈夫かな？
The scent of sake had completely disappeared from her voice.
大丈夫なわけないだろう。お前も見ただろ。あれ。あんな、擦り切れるまでにいじめ抜かれて。
Did we switch sides of the phone?
俺たちはあんなになるまでずっと見捨ててきた。
みんな助けようとして必死に考えてたよ。
でも結局何も思いつかなかったし、聡子を救えたわけじゃないだろう。結局あんなになるまで俺たちは何もできなかった。
そうだね。私は結局見てただけかも。
だからさ、せめて一夜くらい遊ばせてやろうじゃないか。
え？遊ばせるって？
あいつもいろいろと参ってるのわかるだろう。だからさ、明日の綿流しのお祭りにあいつを連れて行ってやってほしいんだ。
それは構わないけど。どうして？
どうしてって、せめて祭りの夜くらい息抜きさせてやりたいじゃないか。たとえ一夜でもあの意地悪なおじの元から離れられるなら、短い時間でもきっと聡子は喜ぶ。
だからどうして？
Mion, what he's suggesting is not exactly that questionable.
どうしてって何がだよ。
I was having a little difficulty understanding what Mion was asking me.
どうして？ケイちゃんが連れて行ってあげないの？私に頼まなきゃならないの？
And for once, he actually, I mean, you would think this might be a reasonable question, but you saw how Satoko reacted to Keiichi touching her. That's the thing. He has a pretty good reason for not wanting to be the one to bring her, even if that's not his reason at all. Mion was persistent about odd things. No, maybe it'd be better to say she was sharp.
俺、実はちょっと明日は用事があってさ、祭りには行けない。だから聡子、ミオンが連れて行ってやってほしい。
用事って？
大した用事じゃないんだ。多分すぐに片付くと思うけど、ひょっとすると明日は合流できないかもしれない。なあ、ミオン。明日の夜だけ、聡子を頼めないか。
Why do I get the feeling that this was exactly the same thing that Satoshi said right before he disappeared? And that's why Mion is freaking out a little bit. Mion took a long time to give her reply. I got the feeling that Mion had been acting weird for a while now. Like she was flustered by emotions or something.
いや。
Huh? Was that a sob? Mion? Are you crying?
私、嫌だって言ったじゃない。私なんかに押し付けられても困るって。
別に押し付けるつもりなんかないよ。明日の夜だけでいいんだ。
嘘だったじゃない。
Mion, what was she talking about?
綿流しの夜だけって言って結局ずっとだった。
Yeah, this is the exact same thing Satoshi said.
嘘つき。でもおあいこかな。私全然あなたとの約束守ってないから。あの子はずっとほったらかしだしね。
Mion is drunk and having flashback conversations with Satoshi here. I had no idea what to say to that. Mion was clearly now talking to someone other than me. I didn't know who. All I could do was listen to her in a daze.
あれからずっと帰ってこないのに、あの子のことをもう一度押し付けるためだけに、本当にずるい人。ねえ、あなた、サトシ君、なんでしょう。
ミオ、さっきから何の話だ？
When I said her name, whatever spell was on Mion was released.
あはごめん。なんでもないの。ちょっと、ケイちゃんの今の電話にそっくりな電話を昔受けたことがあって。
それ、ひょっとしてサトシか？
Mion didn't answer. All I could hear were sobs coming through the receiver.
ごめんね。ちょっと私、寝ぼけてるみたい。変なとこで感情的になっちゃった。ごめんね。焦ったでしょ。
I had no idea how it happened, but I was pretty sure that last year, on this very day, Satoshi had called Mion and told her to bring Satoko to the festival. And when she asked why he needed her to do it, he replied the same way I just did.
サトシ、祭りに行かなかったんだな。
うん。用事があるから自分は行けないって言って。代わりに私にサトコを祭りに連れて行ってくれって。
その時、サトシも言ったんだな。サトコを頼むって。
うん。言ったよ。明日の夜だけ頼むってね。ケイちゃんの言い方があまりにもよく似てたんでちょっと思い出して取り乱しちゃった。
I didn't expect this. Satoshi had given her the exact same phone call 1 year ago today. Mion kept going after that. That he was lying. That he told her it'd only be for the night of the festival.
そうだったな。サトシはその数日後に消えた。
Disappeared might have been a rather vague way to put it. Whether he ran away or not, Satoshi left, abandoning Satoko.
そう。天候でもなく、家出でもなく、消えたの。
And then, an idea far more distinct than even fog crossed my mind. Satoshi made exactly the same phone call as me last year. Why would Satoshi make the exact same call? If, in the truest sense, he really made the exact same phone call as I am right now, then the incident where their aunt was beaten to death, that's... could it...
サトシだ。
え？何が？
Last year, Satoko had been consistently abused by their uncle's wife, their aunt, too. Her aunt abused her the most, and on that night, in the name of the Oyashiro-sama's curse, she was taken from this world. If I thought about that, everything made perfect sense, didn't it?
去年サトコのおばが殴り殺されたじゃないか。あれサトシってことは考えられないか？
No, but that would mean... But then Satoshi, he was a coward who abandoned Satoko and ran away, wasn't he? How could Satoshi resolve himself to kill a person, to save Satoko? It was unthinkable.
私も実はそれを疑ったことがある。サトシには悪いけど。
A few days later, he disappeared on Satoko's birthday. When I first heard it, I flew into a rage. What a cruel day to have run away on. But now that I thought about it like this, the story changed completely. Satoshi had probably been even less calm than I was now. He was her big brother, related by blood, watching his little sister be abused day in and day out. Maybe that's why he couldn't keep calm. And that was why the corpse of their aunt, beaten to death, was so easily discovered. Satoshi lost himself in his anger and hadn't hidden the corpse. He'd permitted a beginning to occur. If the police conducted a full-blown investigation, it was easy to imagine they wouldn't take too long to pin down Satoshi as a culprit. Satoshi. He wished for a return to peaceful days with Satoko, and though he achieved it for a time, excuse me, just moving something here. There we go. He had been steadily driven into a corner. And then he wanted to at least hold out until Satoko's birthday, but finally they nailed him. At the time, Satoshi had been carrying the savings he'd amassed to buy Satoko a giant stuffed animal for a birthday present. He would buy the stuffed animal as her gift, and then get caught. Or he could use the money and disappear. That was the choice he'd been forced to make. And he decided not to make Satoko the sister of a murderer. If that was the case, then it must have been an unspeakably bitter decision. All the money he'd saved wanting to see Satoko happy, he had to use it to help make her sad. And he used the savings and disappeared to Tokyo if the rumors were true.
サトシはそれで消えたのか？
それはわからない。大石なんかはそう思ってるみたいだけどね。
Uishi. Had he been slowly driven into a corner by that repulsive man's pig-headed pursuit?
確かに状況証拠は揃ってるけど、多分ケイちゃんの推理は外れだと思う。県内のどっかで捕まったろくでなしが犯行を自供したっていうし。
That was right. The deviant had confessed, and the incident was solved.
そいつは本当にただの異常者で、ひなみ沢とは何の縁もない男だったって。もちろんサトシとも何の関係もない。だからそんな奴がサトシの身代わりになって嘘をついてくれたなんて到底思えないし。
Yeah, we're bringing up Uishi here. You couldn't just arbitrarily decide like that. You never know where or how humans are tied together. If that guy took the blame, then it was the perfect crime. Of course, if it was really a perfect crime, there would have been no reason for Satoshi to vanish.
それに、サトシには逃亡資金なんてなかったと思う。 サトシが預金を下ろした日。これは誰に言っても信じてくれないんだけど、サトコのために買うと言ってたぬいぐるみが売れてショーケースからなくなってたの。きっとサトシが買ったに違いない。
ちょっと待てよ。逃走資金に使わないでぬいぐるみを買うために使ったなら、サトコのところへ帰るはずだろ。ぬいぐるみを買ってそれを届けもせずに蒸発するなんて考えられない。
うん。だからわからなくなっちゃうんだよ。まとまったお金があるならともかく、貯金を全部使っちゃったならサトシは無一文。お金もなく逃亡生活ができるほど世の中は甘くないよ。
I didn't get it. After all that, I was understanding Satoshi less and less. The two of us fell silent. I couldn't even remember how we got on this topic.
ごめん。どこで話が脱線しちゃったんだか。サトコの件ね、安心していいよ。実はもうちゃんと誘ってあるんだよ。
え？本当かよ。
祭りの準備でみんなで神社に行った時さ、サトコを祭りに呼ぼうって話になったんだよ。それで集会所の電話でそのまま電話して誘ったんだ。おじのやつよそよそしくて勝手にしろみたいな感じだったけど、とりあえず OK はしてくれた。明日みんなで待ち合わせしていくことになってるんだよ。安心した？サトシ。
バカ、俺はサトシじゃないって。
I was a little relieved. I hadn't needed to make the phone call. Satoko had already been invited to the festival. And not in a way that smelled of blood, a way to leave her uncle alone to create time for me to kill him. They purely wanted Satoko to enjoy herself, so they invited her. In the end, it was the same, but I was happy for that slight difference.
すまないな。俺が電話をするまでもなかった。昨日にしろ今日にしろ変な話ばかりしてすまないな。忘れてくれ。
こっちこそ本当に申し訳ない。誰にもなく取り乱しちゃって本当にごめん。
We apologized to each other for a little bit.
じゃあ俺はこれで失礼するな。おやすみ。
何の用事？
As if interrupting our parting words, Mion stuck straight where it hurt.
それもまたサトシと同じように言えない？
バカ。だから俺はサトシじゃないって言ってるだろ。
うん。そんなのは分かってるよ。
I deflected her with a response that wasn't really an answer. Mion didn't hound me after that.
じゃあ今度こそおやすみな。
どうしてケイちゃんがサトシ君と全く同じ電話をしてきたのかわからないけれど。なんでもない。ごめんね。おやすみ。
切るぞ。
Satoshi Hojo. Just who are you? I scorned you as a coward who ran away, abandoning his sister. I always thought you didn't have the right to call yourself her Nini, but now I didn't know what to think. Oyashiro-sama's curse on the 4th year, their aunt's death, and Satoshi's disappearance. And now me, trying to carry out Oyashiro-sama's curse on the 5th. Oddly enough, what I was going to do overlapped perfectly with Satoshi, the day before the curse. Nah, it wasn't all. If we start back from Satoko being abused, then I'd been overlapping with Satoshi for days already. When I talked to Mion before, she asked me if I was Satoshi. If that was the first impression a third party like Neon got, then it was probably true. Then as Satoshi had accomplished, I would succeed in the murder. But that was the extent to which we overlapped. I was far calmer than Satoshi, and more calculating. I could actually grow calmer the more enthusiastic I became. That's why I wouldn't follow in Satoshi's footsteps. I would snip him cleanly out of the world, and then get our peaceful life back. Maybe Satoshi has been with me ever since I chose to use Satoshi's bat as my weapon. Nah, maybe even longer than that. When I decided to be her Nini, maybe Satoshi had been residing within me then, too. Satoshi, were you really a coward? Or are you a true Nini even now, the kind worthy of Satoko's love? I'd never met him, never spoken to him, didn't even know his face, and yet I felt so connected to him. I'd never felt that way before. Nini's Nini. Yes, yes, yes. Note on the housewife murder case. And achievement unlocked. Possessed. July blank, 1982. Okonomiya Police Station, 1st Investigative Division. Chief Takasuji. Blank Prefecture Police Headquarters for the eradication of drug-related crime. Shishibune Branch Head, blank blank. Regarding incident blank designated as undercover investigation. The message is to inform you that a section of the testimony records of an incident under this police headquarters jurisdiction has been found that is thought to be related to the undercover investigation of the incident in question. Okonomiya Police Station X, Hinamizawa Village, housewife slaughter incident. During an investigation of suspect blank blank who was arrested for possession of illegal drugs, there was testimony related to the crime in question, and as part of it, we learned that the criminal had information only he could have known. Therefore, this record of testimony, duplicate attached, will be provided to you. If this testimony is to be believed, then there is an extremely high chance that suspect blank blank was the culprit behind the incident in question. In addition, the head investigator on the case received this report and has inquired into the incident with the Okonomiya Police Station. But the responsible party at Okonomiya Station, who responded to the designated undercover investigation announced by the Prefecture's Police General's Director on July 1st, 1982, Osamu Fusakane, B1-12, misunderstood and did not explain the incident's existence to the head investigator on that case properly. Because of this, the case's head investigator was not aware of the importance of the testimony as it related to the case in question, and as a result was negligent when combing the scene. We apologize for having left it in the dark until now. In addition, there is a postscript stating that suspect blank blank died while in confinement yesterday on X/XX. Interesting. And yes, that's it for tonight. So, we're finally looking through the eyes of the one that gets possessed by Oyashiro-sama. Something like that, yeah. Okay. Take care, last Nonak. So yeah, that is, that's a thing that has happened so far. We're getting to see through the eyes of the possessed. It's an interesting viewpoint. I don't know how close this is to an end. It feels like they could easily stretch this out another 6 or 7 chapters. But anyway, at any rate, yep, that will do it for tonight. Tomorrow, we will be back with Mother 3, where we have 2 more needles to find. I'm pretty sure it's 2. Yeah, something like that. 2 more needles to find, and one of the beings guarding it has not been heard from. Anyway, I will see you tomorrow if you choose to join me for more Mother 3 and more emotional trauma. But for now, I think... Oh, you're going to help me with no lies this time instead of no likes. Ooh. Anyway. Yeah. I think I am going to hit up some people after I finish here and try to get some Stardew Valley multiplayer going on. Since when does Later actually hear anyone? I told you he's too tall to talk to. He literally cannot hear you talking to him. So he never responds. That is forevermore how I am going to interpret him not talking to anyone. But anyway. I'll be back tomorrow. But I am going to be seeing if people want to play some Stardew Valley multiplayer after the stream. Because that is fun. Anyway, take care, folks. I will see you back for more of this next week if you choose not to join me tomorrow. Later, guys.